Hello and welcome to GI Live London 2022. My name is Chris Dring and I run GamesIndustry.biz, and we have 3 days of huge talks for you this week, including in-person sessions with PlayStation's Shuei Yoshida, Rare's Craig Duncan, Hero Capital's Sir Ian Livingston, Aurora Agency's Dawn Payne, Interior Night's Caroline Marshall, and many, many more. But today is our digital day and we have a truly fantastic digital talk for you. Just over a week ago, Disney held its D23 event where it showcased a number of new games, including 2 titles from indie developers. Those games include a new Tron game from Biffle Games and Disney Illusion Island from Delilah. Both studios are actually based here in the UK. And to talk about those and working with developers of all sizes, we have Sean Shoptaw, who is Senior Vice President of Global Games and Interactive Experiences at the Walt Disney Company. Hello, Sean. Welcome to GI Live.
Thanks, Chris. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, so I every week there seems to be a Disney story, and I look at Disney's list of partners, particularly from the AAA industry, Ubisoft, EA, PlayStation, Xbox. You seem to be working on with every major games company on the planet. How do you keep on top of all of that, all of those relationships?
Yeah, well, look, we're certainly fortunate to have a lot of great partners, to your point, and it's a good breadth of partners to the question. We have a really great team. I'm very fortunate to lead a really great team of creatives and producers and marketers, and a great biz dev team that tees up these deals for us, that are really, really passionate about this space. So despite a heavy workload, a lot of different partners, to your point, we're just a passionate team that wants to do a lot of great things in this industry. So it makes that workload a lot easier to manage. And of course, we've got a lot of great partners that help us as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was seeing you run your own games conference, effectively sort of live stream, is well, it shows how different. I know Disney obviously changed its strategy from what it did before, where it sort of made its own games, to sort of the strategy now of working with partners. It seems to be really that seems to be really validating itself. It seems to be proving itself out as being the right move to make. Is that how it feels to you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're incredibly excited about the path this business has been on for the last roughly 5 years since we made that pivot, to your point. Being able to work with the best developers and publishers globally has really reinvigorated the business. I think the product quality is better than it's ever been. Like I said, we've got a really passionate team of folks, and being able to have really limitless potential to go work with anybody, big or small, in this medium is incredibly invigorating for me, certainly, and the team as well. So this strategy is something we're really passionate about, and something that I think has been really validated, to the point, over the last 5 years or so.
Mm. How involved are you in particularly the big blockbuster projects, that the ones that are grabbing all the headlines? How involved do you get in those?
We're really involved. Like I said, we've got a great team of creatives and producers and marketers and business development folks that work really closely with these partners to bring these stories to life. Obviously, we have a lot of in-house knowledge about the stories and characters that you see on screen. So we partner really closely with the studios we work with to bring these projects to life. Even though it's a licensed business, we like to think that we're really closely partnered and drive a lot of what you see ultimately in the finished product to make our partners as effective as they can be in telling these stories and creating these great games that you're starting to see come to life.
Well, it's not just, obviously we touched upon the AAA games of but we saw at D23 and obviously we've seen you work even before then, Disney working with indies. Why do that when you've got PlayStation and Xbox and Ubisoft, and why we want to work with the smaller teams as well?
Yeah, because there's a lot of really talented indies, right? And I think that if we just narrowed our focus to the bigger shops, I think we'd be missing great opportunity to work with a lot of really talented creatives. And I think for us, the passion that folks have, regardless of the size of their studio, is the most important element to making a great product. And we have, to the point, both Delilah and Bithell are really great creative studios that have a lot of passion for our IP. And we want to empower studios just like them to go tell great stories with, in this case, Tron and traditional Disney with Mickey and Friends. That passion and that creative excellence is just so important to us that, size of studio just really doesn't matter if you have that.
how did those relate? Let's talk about Biffle Games and Delilah in particular. How did those relationships even come about? Where did they come from?
Yeah, so just, some great BD work. I have to give credit to our business development team. John Drake and that team do a really great job of connecting to folks across this industry, big or small, to your point. On the Biffle side, that was just a relationship that we've developed over time, and there was joint passion around Tron. And again, that team had a great vision and great passion for the IP, and that became a very organic conversation that just, again, was driven by that passion for the subject. And then Delilah, we've had, as you know, an ongoing long relationship that started off a bit bumpy as we were making the transition to this new model. But we love AJ and team, and again, that passion they have for our characters and stories is so evident in any conversation you have. Just talking to AJ last week at D23, his passion just jumps right out. And I think that's something, again, when we had a chance to revisit and start thinking about a new project with Delilah, it went really fast because of that passion, because of that shared vision for something great. And here we are, fortunate enough to announce both those titles, and we couldn't be more excited.
AJ's certainly a passionate man. I don't think he does anything.
I love it. It's really great.
Well, but Biffle Games has actually worked on a licensed game before. They worked on a John Wick title, and Delilah, obviously, as you say, has history with Disney, but also, recently made a game with Microsoft and Rare. They both have experience with working with other people's IPs. How open are you to teams that perhaps don't have that experience?
We're very open. Again, I think that it really starts with that passion and that creative excellence. And I think we would take a sort of case by case approach, but we'd be very open. I think that if people can portray that passion and that vision for a really excellent experience that's led by a lot of passionate people that know the stories they want to tell and have a real passion to the point for these characters and worlds, we'd be very open to that conversation. I want to be, and we think about our business in a way that we want to be really inclusive and bring in talented people wherever they may sit with whatever experiences they may have, as long as it's rooted in that creative, passion for our stories and our worlds that are available for people to come and play with.
How does your relationship with indie teams sort of differ from those AAA teams, or do they not differ at all? Is it the same?
Well, of course, working with a big studio or some of the big partners we have, it's a bit different in that we work directly with AJ, as an example, with Delilah, where maybe we're not working directly with CEOs and presidents on some of the bigger titles or with some of the bigger companies. So just that structure and nature of a big company versus a small one inherently has some different points of contact and those things. But really, when you come down to it, it's the same, right? You're working with creative people to bring a vision to life. And I think that whether that's working with a small company or some of the biggest players in the industry, ultimately that work is the same. And it's really about connecting with folks on the creative side, on the product side, on the marketing side, to really bring the best product to life. And that doesn't differ, regardless of the size of the company.
Well, you use the word passion quite a lot in your answers. So I suspect I might know the answer to this question. But what do you look for from when you particularly from independent partners? What do you want to see in them?
Yeah, I mean, to the point, passion is a big one, but that creative excellence, and certainly as we look at smaller partners, we do want to make sure that they can land the plane, so to speak, right? That there's the ability to build out whatever product we're talking about and really do it at a really high level, because we certainly feel like the IP is precious. Our stories and worlds are the most precious asset we have, and we want to make sure that anybody we partner with has that ability to actually make the product. Even if they have the passion, they do have that does have to be connected to the ability to execute. So certainly that's number two behind passion, that we really want to make sure that there's the expertise in-house to really execute and bring a title to life at the scale and quality that we want.
Is it how does it normally work? Do they come to you and people pitch you, or I'd love to bring back Monkey Island or whatever, or is it the other way around? Do you seek the partners?
The most successful formula for us is when, people come to us in a way, right? That doesn't mean we don't reach out to folks and have conversations. We certainly do. But once we're engaged and once we're in a room, I think the best formula is when we hear from a studio about an idea or a certain character or world that they're really passionate about. I think, us walking into rooms and saying we want a game that does X, Y, or Z isn't the best formula, right? We want to really empower and provide that white space for the best people in this industry to create and tell those original stories and drive, to a product that, again, is their vision, is their passion, that we just want to help facilitate. And so I think the best formula, again, is for folks that, come to us in a way versus us going out and trying to be prescriptive in what we tell people.
And I guess you have sometimes people come to you to want to work with your IP in their existing games. I'm a big fan of Sea of Thieves, and the Pirates of the Caribbean thing was such a cool thing.
Great example.
I guess it's not always about making a full game. Maybe it might be some form of collaboration.
Yeah, we to your point, we loved that Sea of Thieves integration, and working with Rare was a really awesome experience for our team. And I think it just speaks to our desire to work with the best, our desire to do really cool, unique things. And to the point, that might mean a standalone game, but it might not. The integrations we do, like with Sea of Thieves, we think are hugely meaningful and strategic for our business, and something certainly we're open to doing more of with the right partner.
Yeah, and I guess you get bigger than Kingdom Hearts as well, right? It isn't always. This is the thing. You do so many different types of games. The games that are coming. I look at the slate of games. There's the big story-driven action adventure titles, but then there's strategy games like Midnight Suns, and then there's platform games, and then the Sea of Thieves sort of experiences. There doesn't seem to be any. It seems to be you're quite open to all sorts of ways of working in the game space.
We absolutely are. And I think it's a really, really important point, Chris, as we think about this space. There's so much breadth, to your point, in type of games, different platforms. And we want to serve audiences everywhere, right? And we want to match with the right partner, regardless of size, to the earlier point, and really do meaningful things in this medium. I think it's really, really important to us to do things that are specific to the games industry, to bring unique, original experiences to this medium. And so, to the question, we are very open and excited about continuing to push the envelope and doing more to bring our characters and worlds to life with the best partners in the world, regardless of the size.
When it comes to sort of indie creators looking to work with you, is there a limit to the sort of IPs that are available to companies like that? Or are you, you've already suggested you're quite open, or are you just sort of...
No, not at all. And I think that, I think there is that misperception or the thought maybe that, certain IP would be off limits. We don't view it that way at all. I think, again, if we find the right partner, and I think Delilah is a great example, there's no more precious IP at this company than Mickey. So I think that's a great illustration of, we really aren't, married to certain size of companies to warrant certain IP. We think that, again, that the right creator, is worthy regardless of the size of their studio. And I think, again, Delilah is a great example of that. And we'd certainly be open to future executions with any of our characters and worlds across the portfolio if it made sense, regardless of the size of partner.
It's quite a portfolio now. You don't get, and there's always new experiences coming through Disney Plus and those sort of things. So I guess if there might be developers listening to this going,
and I hope there are. Honestly, I think that we're really open to conversations. And to your point, there's no shortage of new stories being told at our company. We're certainly very privileged to have an incredible portfolio of characters and worlds, new and existing, that we think we can push more into, especially into the games industry.
When you have like because indie developers don't always necessarily have the publishing capabilities of a Ubisoft or an EA or someone like that. So when you have an indie developer comes to you and says, we've got an idea for a game, this isn't traditionally published themselves yourself. So is it a case of you might help advise them on a partner or help them in that, or is that not really?
Yeah, I think that's it's an open conversation to the point, case by case, of course, depending on partner and the situation. But we are certainly always open to helping facilitate a good outcome. And to the point, if there's an opportunity to bring in a stronger publisher or connect some dots with other partners we have in the portfolio, we're certainly open to doing that, and certainly something that we would be happy to help facilitate to get something brought to life that we believe in.
What's your? Let's ask a nice broad question. It might be the last question. We'll see how we get on. But what's your sort of long-term aim for Disney in video games? How do you see yourself in relation to the industry sort of right now, and where do you hope to get to? Or maybe you're sort of well on the way there.
Yeah, it's a great question, and something that I think we are, as you can tell, the word of the day is passion. We're certainly really passionate about the strategy we have in place. We think this industry is obviously a significant one and an important medium for the company strategically. We feel really good about where we sit today, but in a lot of ways, we think we're just getting started. We have a great portfolio of games in market today. To the point, we think we've got a great roadmap of games coming over the next 3 and 4 years. But really, we think the opportunity for us in this medium is really infinite, given to the point the breadth of characters and worlds that we have today and what we know is coming. We're going to continue to push, and we're going to continue to try to do big things in this space. We think there's room for a lot of that, including more Disney games across our portfolio. And it's just something, again, strategically, we feel really strongly about, that this strategy and this focus to bring our characters and worlds to the best developers and publishers globally is really just beginning. We think we have a lot more to do. We're certainly passionate about that opportunity, and we want to be as good a partners as we can be, as inviting as partners as we can be, to work with everybody, again, to the point that has passion, that has the expertise and creative excellence to execute. And so, I think where we sit today is certainly something we're proud of. But if you talk to our team, I think you get the same answer, that we think we're just getting started here. And so we're going to keep pushing to do really unique, fun things for this medium specifically. And so I think you can look forward to us pushing hard here to do even more over time.
Brilliant. Well, I'm picking up as well that there's no limit to platforms, style of games, size of games. I mean, I can see that from your portfolio already, that there's free-to-play games, there's mobile, there's console, there's PC. It's like there isn't a limit. There isn't something that you say we wouldn't do that, right? Is there? Or is there?
No, I think if you look at the traditional platforms today of mobile, PC, and console, we're certainly going to keep, to the point, pushing and doing as much as we can on all platforms. Again, I think that the opportunity for us to keep doing more is there for the taking. I think that we just need to be, continue to be focused on choosing the right partners. You've referenced 2 great ones today. The bigger guys that you reference as well are really important partners to us as well. And we just want to keep building. We want to keep doing more and building on the success we've had recently here, and stay humble and go hopefully do a lot of really fun things in this medium.
Well, I look forward to playing most of these games, to be honest. But thank you, Sean. That's genuinely fascinating stuff, and hopefully maybe inspired a few of our attendees here at GI Live or reading GamesIndustry.biz. That is all we have time for, I'm afraid. But join us tomorrow for our next major session, when I will be talking to PlayStation Indies boss Shuei Yoshida. But until then, thank you for watching.